moment that she knew she messed up. But in order to explain, let's take it back to winter 2023. Our story begins like any other cafe sketching adventure. I show up to a charming, idealistic location, order really good food, drink a caffeinated beverage, and get to work sketching. And it was going great. Like, usually I don't sketch in my travel sketchbooks in pencil first, but I'm usually a color erase girly. But that graphite to paper texture was like butter. It felt so good. It was perfect. And I was feeling pretty confident about how the sketch was looking. So I called it a day, took in the rest of the cafe and the gallery downstairs, and I felt pretty good about finishing up this page in the future. But then I tried painting in the sketchbook. A watercolor ink, and you can see that it doesn't actually it's splotchy. I was using gouache and I tried to lift, and it doesn't even, look, that's one flat wash. It looks awful. Well, you know what they say. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and baby, I was desperate. Okay, well, that did not work the way I wanted it to work. At first I thought, okay, maybe it's a gouache. This is a brand new gouache. I've never used it before, so let's switch gears to watercolor. Yeah, that flopped. Hard. That flopped hard. I tried watercolor, I switched to watercolor, and now I got pastels, Neocolor, Caradosh, and some colored pencils. I'm just gonna see what comes of it. I'm kind of just playing around now because it's over. It's canceled. It's not good. So I don't know if any of you have ever acted in desperation before. But in case you haven't, hang on, let me check my notes here. Yeah, it doesn't work. I was throwing literally everything at this page. I was pulling art supplies from my collection that I had never seen before. But I will say there is a silver lining, and while I was pretty much throwing anything and everything at this sketchbook, I mean wax crayons, pencil crayons, paint, pastels, my dignity, I, much like Kylie Jenner before me, realized something. This sketchbook likes dry media. Okay, update. With colored pencil and Neocolor, it's still not perfect, but a lot better than what we were working with before. So yeah, this is a dry medium sketchbook. Got it. So where does that leave me exactly with my newfangled, very fancy, very pricey traveler's notebook sketchbook? That is an excellent question. Part of the appeal of traveler's notebook is that it's modular. Just because the sketch pages don't work for what I needed to doesn't mean that the sketchbook itself is bad. I mean, it does have a watercolor insert after all, and that definitely, or at least hopefully, would work well for wet media, but I have my own hang-ups about sketching on watercolor paper for something like this. Namely, I don't like it. I'm looking for a smooth, lightweight type of paper that is some semblance of durable and doesn't leave my colors patchy and yucky to look at. I know it's asking for a lot, but girl wants what she wants. It is something to think about though when buying the sketchbook insert. I did sketchbook specifies for dry media only. Spoiler alert, it does not. But I am aware that typically this is used by fountain pen enthusiasts, and they being Traveler's Company, have a paper formula kind of built around pen and ink, which I'm guessing whichever formula they use for that just doesn't lend itself well to holding up to watercolor or gouache or other wet media. I'm not entirely sure how exactly I'll be using this going forward. It's definitely going to be more pencil and pen sketches because yikes. I don't know, maybe in the future when I've gotten over the trauma, I'll purchase the watercolor insert, and if that flops, well, then I guess I'll never try anything new ever again. Now, with all that being said, and at the risk of sounding like a high school kid penning a college entrance essay that they're trying to find an eloquent way to wrap up, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, in conclusion, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Lesson learned.